I'm feeling extra fortunate today as I've been blessed with some unusually good weather here in New Delhi. I can only take the blue sky and pleasant temperatures outside to be an auspicious sign of what's to come. Tonight, I'll be indulging in a long-awaited journey with Singapore Airlines on board their Airbus A380 in their first-class suites. Hello, YouTube travelers, and welcome to the Gentleman of Fortune channel. Join me on my travels around the world, and together we'll review the latest in-flight and lounge offerings, find out how various airlines' first and business class products stack up, and sample their catering and indulge in their finest champagnes. Together, we'll experience the best of the best, and maybe some more obscure ones as well. So be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you won't miss a thing. And now I invite you to sit back and relax as we get this next review underway. Check-in was swift at the dedicated suites counter, and the only point of contention was who was going to be in charge of shepherding me through the immigration process, my handler or the dedicated first-class escort from Singapore Airlines. In the past, suites guests used the Air India First Lounge, but today I was dropped off at the Encom Privé Lounge. I didn't take much advantage of their food and beverage offerings because I was eager to try everything on board. As a suites guest, I was afforded the opportunity to board first, and I started down the jetway as soon as the purser allowed boarding to commence. Despite all the glass in the terminal, it was difficult to get a nice shot of Singapore's big A380. There was always an unflattering glare on the windows. Having given up on that endeavor, I was welcomed on board and escorted to my expansive onboard accommodation, Suite 1F. So here we go. This is our first look at it. Now obviously, I've seen this suite before on other videos, but it's a whole different experience being here in person. And I've got to say, it truly is very opulent. I love the length that they went to make this experience something special, right down to the designs and the carpet. Obviously, the focal point of the suite is the beautiful leather recliner chair, so let's take a look at what the suite looks like from that vantage point. In the corner, we have a massive TV. The bed is folded away for takeoff, providing even more space, and you can see the wall between suites 1 and 2 that can be lowered if traveling with a companion. There's also a countertop-like surface featuring several storage compartments, as well as a master controller tablet. And that little credenza over there with the menu on it contains the large pull-out tray table for dining. On the forward bulkhead, there's a smaller TV that's used during taxi, takeoff, and landing when the seat has to face forward. A moment later, a flight attendant came by to offer me this black tote bag containing Lalique branded loungewear. So now I'm off to the restroom to change, but holy smokes, wow, you've got to get a load of this place. Notice the Hollywood-style vanity mirror, the high-end fragrances and toiletries, the Lalique Neroli branded toiletries and fragrances, the makeup table so that you can look your best throughout the flight and just in time for disembarkation. As well, of course, a full-length mirror so that you can check your outfit. And, of course, there's a toilet in here as well. The only thing that is missing is a shower, which really seems like a shame. With 2 lavatories for only a maximum of 6 guests, you'd think that they could have put in at least 1 shower. Other than that, it seems no expense was spared. Take a look at this waterfall faucet. There's also a drawer with plenty of amenities for your use in the restroom. Alright, now that I'm changed into something more comfortable and I'm back at the seat, let's take a look around. Down here we've got a USB and standard power outlet. Down here on the bulkhead at our feet, there's a literature pocket which features the Wi-Fi instructions, how to get online, as well as a duty-free magazine and catalog. While I was looking through that, the Singapore Airlines in-flight safety video began playing. I'll share a few moments of that with you because it's one of my all-time favorites.
Give us your attention as we bring you through this important safety briefing and on a journey through Singapore. During takeoff and landing, ensure that your tray table is stowed away. Put the back of your seat upright and keep your shoes on. Before we take off, stow your luggage under the seat in front of you or in the overhead compartments.
So classy and a lovely showcase of Singapore. Of course, one of the things that Singapore is renowned for is its vibrant food scene. So with that in mind, let's see what's on the menu. I actually booked my meal in advance through their extensive list of book the cook options, which is available online until 24 hours before departure. Here you can see the options I had to work with. I do believe that the list offers a few more choices for flights departing Singapore's Changi Airport. However, as you can see here, there's still more than enough options, and you'll definitely find something that suits your palate. What looks good to you? Share a note in the comments if you see something that looks outstanding, or if you've got a favorite from Singapore Airlines. If you prefer to wait till the day of flight to see what strikes your fancy, or you are unable to order in advance for whatever reason, here's a look at the menu offerings available on today's flight. Here you can also see their extensive choices of beverages, cocktails, wines, and spirits. Of course, feel free to pause at any point if you need some more time to read the menu, or if you're not interested in the menu on today's flight, you can jump ahead to the 7-minute 50-second point where we'll resume the video. Whew, it took so long going through that menu with all of the different options that we've already begun our taxi, and pretty soon it'll be time to take off. I'll tell you, for as great as the A380 is, with its spacious interior and quiet cabin, the major drawback for people who like to look out the window is that they're so far away, especially on the upper deck. You seem to be looking through more of the fuselage as your viewing angle is closer to tangential. At any rate, here we go. Now that we're airborne, let's have a look around, since we didn't really get a chance to check out the cabin furnishings on the ground. Here you can see the tablet which you can control the media and lighting in the suite with. And here's a nice Lalique branded leather amenity kit that was waiting at the seat for me. We'll take a more detailed look at this in a few minutes. Now on the edge of this countertop that runs kind of the length of the suite against the windows, we've got a variety of buttons which control lighting, as well as the do not disturb signs. Additionally, there's controls for the window shade, and a more unique button which deploys the big 32-inch TV. Now, hidden away in this compartment is a variety of outlets. I guess you can't see it. Let's get some light on that. There you go. So as you can see, there's a HDMI outlet, a universal with USB, as well as a contactless payment sensor. Now let's see if we can put some of those buttons to use and get our suite set up the way we want it. All right, we got a little light on, and now check this out. We've got the TV deploying from the takeoff and landing position. And now finally, a splash of Krug to get this flight started off right as the onboard service commences. That's an interesting pour, huh? In his defense, it was kind of bumpy on the climb out, and it was sort of sloshing into the glass, which accounts for all the foam. Next, they brought out some mixed nuts, including some candied walnuts, which were very tasty. They then unlocked the big TV for programming. It's locked out during taxi, takeoff, and landing, lest you should be tempted to swivel your seat around or deploy the TV prematurely. Now let's get the big tray table out. There's plenty of room on this thing to load it up with delicious food. While we wait for that, let's take a look at this Singapore Airlines first class amenity kit. As I already mentioned, it's branded Lalique, and in fact it has Lalique embossed on the cover in silver. Additionally, on the interior of the cover flap, there's a Lalique for Singapore Airlines leather tag. Okay, so the first thing that jumps out at me is this white box. It says it's a room spray vaporizer. The box itself says Lalique Voyage de Parfumeur, Neroli Casablanca Maroc. Next, we've got this Lalique Neroli perfumed soap. And now in this little baggie, we've got a couple of things. The first is a tube of Lalique Neroli body lotion. And the second is a little tube of Lalique Neroli lip balm. There's also a tightly rolled up Ziploc bag in there, which I didn't bother to show you. I presume that's in there in case you have a connecting flight and you need to get your newfound lotions and perfumes through the security. Now the last thing in the kit is this promotional card. And just in case you were wondering, yes, they do offer a ladies' amenities kit as well. I was fortunate enough to receive this one, so I can share it with you also. This striking red leather amenity kit is also from Lalique, and it features these decorative gold zipper pulls. So we'll see what's inside this one, if I can get it open with one hand. Ta-da! Now this kit also has something that jumps out to me right away. This big coral box, which looks like it's perfume. So it's the Soleil Lalique Eau de Parfum, 17 fluid ounces. That's a pretty nice gift. It's what I would consider a full-size perfume. I wonder if any of you viewers out there have ever seen this or tried it. What's it smell like? Is it pretty nice? Leave a note in the comments section if you've tried it before. All right, next up, we've got another one of these little baggies here. The first thing out of the bag this time is this bottle of Lalique Facial Mist. Next, we've got this tube of Lalique hand cream. And then we've got a Lalique lip balm. I wonder if there's any difference between this lip balm and that was in the men's amenity kit, or if it's just the color of the tube. And last up, we've got our Lalique branded plastic baggie. Just kidding. There's no branding on it. And so that's pretty much it, except for the card. It wouldn't be a designer amenity kit without the promotional card. Next up, we've got the headphones, which Singapore Airlines provides to first-class passengers. They're from the Danish company Bang & Olufsen. Frankly, they're probably one of the best sets of headphones you can get in first class. Inside the case here, we've got a set of sanitary ear cup covers. And you can see that there's plenty of very comfortable padding on the headband. And the same is true for the ear cups themselves. And the cord has a 3-prong plug, which plugs in over next to that contactless payment sensor that we saw before. Now over by the door of this suite, there's actually a storage closet which includes some other amenities, like these really nice slippers, also branded by Lalique. You've got a pair of socks. Up on top here, there's a pretty plush blanket, which they kept trying to give me, even though it was not the slightest bit cold. And then down below, you've got some hangers and hanger space for your clothes or jackets. There's actually quite a bit of room in there because I've got a rollerboard in there, which you may not be able to see behind the clothes. All right, enough messing about. Let's eat. First up, I've elected to start with the caviar service, as one does when they're flying in suites on the A380. And of course, some more krug to go along with it. So tonight, I'll be enjoying Kaluga Queen Osetra caviar. Now, you may not be aware of this, and certainly I wasn't, but apparently Kaluga Queen is a Chinese company, and apparently they're the largest producer of caviar in the world. Here I've got my little mother-of-pearl spoon so I don't spoil the taste. Time to see how it is. To be honest, it's delicious. At least the caviar is. I would say that the blinis are a little bit stale, which is disappointing. Does that constitute a first world problem? It's nothing a little champagne-tasting duel can't make me forget. Here I put the Paul Roger 2016 Blanc de Blanc up against the Krug. And if that weren't enough, I have to determine which red wine I'm going to select for my main course. I've now got quite a lineup, and I think I'm finally ready to start eating. I pre-booked the herb-crusted lamb chops online through the Book the Cook program, and let me tell you, this was every bit as delicious as it looked. I have no complaints at all from this dish. Wow, this was amazingly tasty, and the wine was the perfect complement to the lamb chops. The orientation of the seat with the tray table out allows you to take advantage of the big TV screen. It's all the comforts of home with a 5-star meal at 35,000 feet. Up next was a delectable dessert composed of a passion fruit mousse, mango ice cream, and a mango pineapple compote. Then, in short order, some fresh fruit, and get a load of this huge chunk of dragon fruit. After the fruit course, it's time for more fruit, accompanied by cheese and crackers. Well, it's a good thing I didn't eat much in the lounge, because I'm suitably stuffed now. I wouldn't have had enough room to finish if I loaded up on all kinds of unnecessary stuff at the lounge. With dinner finished, I'm going to get ready for bed. This time, I'm in the other first-class bathroom. It's still beautifully appointed, but this time decidedly smaller. Now I'm in for a treat. I mean, look at this incredible bed. It's hard to fathom that this is a bed on an airplane. It's got an incredibly soft and fluffy duvet cover with the Lalique logo and several of their signature birds embroidered onto it. And up at this end, you can see it's got 2 very nice full-size pillows. I'll be honest, this bed looks so inviting I couldn't wait to hop in. And now that I'm in it, I can tell you that it's really comfortable. I didn't really intend to sleep too long because I wanted to be up so that I could enjoy more of the suite, but the next thing I knew, the flight attendants were waking me up in preparation for landing. They offered me a couple of mementos as souvenirs of my flight, including those 2 cute bears in their newly updated traveling outfit and this thoughtful card. All too soon, we had begun our descent into Singapore's Changi Airport, and while I'm disappointed that this segment of the journey is coming to a close, I'm incredibly grateful that I've had the opportunity to experience it. I'm sure we've all seen tons of airline reviews, so many of the features or amenities aren't necessarily a surprise, if and when you're fortunate enough to experience the flight in real life. But there are always those variables that you can't account for. One thing that I feel fairly confident in declaring a constant, however, is the impeccable service that you'll experience on Singapore Airlines. They always score deservedly top marks in my book for their polished, attentive, and friendly service. And this flight was no different, so a huge thank you to the crew on this flight that made it so memorable. I've seen a number of complaints about the utility of this cabin layout or the size of the bed. My flight this evening was fairly short in the grand scheme of things, just around 5 hours, but in my short time on board, I didn't take umbrage with any of those design choices. With that being said, I could imagine a scenario on a much longer flight, or perhaps if you wanted to communicate with or dine with a companion, where you might become a bit frustrated with the layout. But how often is that really an issue? I doubt there's too many couples who commute back and forth so frequently in this product that they're being denied adequate conversation time in their lives. I think, if anything, people may be grappling with the cost and trying to come up with some shortcoming or other to justify their distaste for the price. But airline fares are a funny thing. I'm blessed to be very savvy when it comes to capitalizing on outsized values and niche fare opportunities. And of course, cost and value are relative, so everyone views them differently. In this case, I felt I got a very good value for this ticket, and maybe that gives me a more rosy outlook than somebody who paid full fare on their most costly routes. But I think it's fair to declare this as one of the very best commercial airline products available today, and so it's understandable that it's going to command a premium price that may be out of reach or hard to justify for many people. Besides Etihad's The Residence, nobody can compete for the amount of personal space you get here, and space truly is a luxury, especially on board an aircraft. While Emirates offers an extensive list of dining choices on board every flight, their options pale in comparison to Singapore when you include their book-to-cook menu. And how many airlines offer multiple premium champagne choices on board? In addition to the ones that we've seen today, in the past they've had standouts such as Dom Perignon and Cristal. Still, it's a shame that they couldn't have put at least one shower on board. Well, that brings me to the end of my journey today. I hope that you enjoyed it as I surely did. Hopefully, you found this video informative and entertaining. If you did, I hope you'll hit that thumbs up button. I've been reminded by a fan of the channel that I should point out that it doesn't cost you anything, and it really helps the channel to grow. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. Also, I love to see you guys' comments. They motivate me to keep the hobby going and creating more videos, which brings me to the last point. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future content. Now, it's off to the private room for me. And as I always say, until the next video, safe travels.